My my fellow Dharma brothers and sisters, here we go again. You wouldn't believe how funny I was the past Sunday. I mean, I was furious. I wasn't mad, but I was furious. And if you have met me on that day, you would know that who I really am. There is saying that don't meet your hero or you're gonna be disappointed. So this is the true case for me. My daily routine is that I read news, both in Vietnamese and in English. And I came across so many issues. I guess that Christy, you work in the correctional centers and you know a lot the reason why men are there too, right? So, and I have a thing for Ukraine people. Every time I turn on the Yahoo News, I'm looking for the situation in Ukraine and hoping for the better turn over there. Lots of people came to me asking, why did it happen? Not only with the war, not only with the, Putin invaded Ukraine or so and such, but past couple of days that I've read, a husband and a wife, for some reason, he tried to kill her by running the car over her, and I watched the clips. He ran over her, and then he came down, checking on her if she's still alive, and then he came back in the car, ran over her again, until that she's completely dead. Why is that? When you first met her, when you first tried to get to know each other, it wasn't like that. But now it turned. It's so ugly. Why is that? We are here to study the internal who we are. First, we study the duality, which is the subject and the object. And I go straight into the core of the object is to study the mind. As I have shared some times ago about 10,000 faces of the mind. As you're listening to me right now, it's one face of the mind. As I'm talking to you, it's one face of the mind. As I raise my hand, it's one face of the mind. As Putin invaded Ukraine, one phase of the mind. As the husband tried to kill his wife, running the car over her many times, making sure that she died, it's one phase of the mind. As my abbot here, he has a habit that when he comes into the temple, he always making sure that he turn with a very square corner. Everyone doesn't do that. Only him, that when he come in, he makes sure that he turns right at the square corner. When I come here, I just go curve. I come over here. No, he doesn't. So that is one phase of the mind too. And in 10,000 phases of the mind, there are 10,000 differences in acts of the mind. And my furious on past Sunday, it was one phase of the mind too. So we study a lot phases of the mind. My way of studying is that we go thoroughly. We introspect the totality of the mind from A to Z. Looking for every possible hidden corner of the mind so we can understand. As we understand what mind is, we don't wonder why it happened anymore. We don't wonder that why I get mad, why I get so happy, why I get so compassionate, why. Every possible question, there's an answer to it through the understanding of what mind is. So each of us here is acting as one phase of the mind right now. Even though that you're looking, you're hearing, you're listening to me, everybody has a different phases. We study that. And like I said, that when we get used to it, we don't wonder why. We don't have a question of why anymore. Oh, this is how the mind is. It manifests into this, therefore becomes an action. It manifests into that, therefore becomes another action. So when you have an issue, it doesn't matter what kind of issues, and then you turn yourself into a devil, or you turn yourself into an angel, that's one phase of the mind. We're here with one aspiration, an aspiration to be happy. And the only way to get out of that, to attain the happiness, is that to understand what mind is. Once we understand it, then we let go whatever the mind is in action. You're happy, let it go. You're sad, let it go. You're angry, let it go. You're in love, let it go. That doesn't mean that you are a nihilist. That doesn't mean that. You do what's right is right. You discern what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, and then act in according to. But without attachment. Either you do it or you don't do it, that's all. If an act which has the quality of wholesomeness, we do it. If an act with the quality of unwholesome, then we don't do it. Very simple, very simple. But because of the human nature that, like I said, that if you do that in accordance to the situation, then you are a saint already. But many cases, many circumstances that you act insanely. How are you going to do that? What's done is done. You go back to your normal chore every day. Just like a fighter. A good fighter is the one that when he gets knocked down, he stands up again. That's how we do. So once that we understand what mind is, then it doesn't matter that how many thousand mistakes we have done. We just get up and walk again. Because for sure that at the end, we are going to be the winner. Why? I'm telling you this. The Buddha said that every single being has the potential to be a Buddha, to be a liberated person. And it surely is. We have that quality from within. So it doesn't matter that how bad you are, how failures you are during the path of spirituality. You're gonna be the winner at the end, sooner or later. And even though that sometimes you have a question, but the one that practices the a Muslim kind, the IS and such, as long as he still practices, as long as he still have an aspiration, sooner or later he's gonna turn himself into the right direction. I'm quite sure for that. As long as you have an aspiration, then it doesn't matter that how wrong the path you take. Sooner or later you're gonna realize that, and then you turn to the right path. Here, I think that we are headed in the same direction right now, which is the right path. I'm not quite heretic for being scriptures. All I do is that I share the intrinsic nature within yourself, which is the mind and the consciousness. Everybody has a piece of that. So it cannot go wrong. Whether that you're Catholic, you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're whatever, you still have a piece of mind and a piece of consciousness. And that's what I tackle at. Before we said that at the beginning we study with the duality, which is the subject and the objects. The object is the mind, and the subject is the consciousness. In short, the knowing. That which knows the objects, which is the mind. So as you are listening to me right now, it's the mind that is listening. It's not you. It's not you completely. It's the mind. As I say that when I don't say anything at all, right there is a space. That space, emptiness, is one phase of the mind too. And what is it that knows that empty space, that knows that you're listening, that knows that you are planning to go to the market, you're planning for your next vacation and such? That is your consciousness. That's it. The composition of this being, this conscious being, is that much, just that much. The objects and the awareness of the object, and that's it. And when we find that out, then we truly know, oh, how empty I am. There's no yatang, there's no markets, or the name that you register with Social Security Administration. And for that, if you happen to make a boo-boo, you found out that it's very easy to let go. It's not that you have a reason to forget, oh, because of this, because of that, because of this, because of that. No, it's not because. There's only one because. That because I understand how mind works and the mental process in which arises from the consciousness. And right there, equanimity comes. Remember that equanimity is another phase of the mind. If we keep seeing the 10,000 faces of the mind, then right there, liberation. Real liberation is here and now. You don't have to wait. As you are listening to me right now, listening to my voice, you don't have anything else but the object, my voice, the subject, you are listening with knowing. In that subject-objects, in between, there is no any kind of mental emotions going on. And that's it. That's it. That is liberation. So, don't have to go far. Liberation is right here and now. Whatever arises within your mind, it just because of the conditioning. And when you understand that, it's a sense of delight, comes into you. You feel good. You feel good again. Someone came to Ajahn Chah, great master, great Thai master. Why do you have so much wisdoms? He said, because I went through a lot of sufferings. So from that sufferings, you learn. Wisdom arises from sufferings. So don't mind if you have problems. It's just like that the past Sunday. When I look at it, this is a real test, because for quite a while that I don't get furious, and now I did. Let's see what's going on with that furiousness, and it woke me up at 2 o'clock in the morning for that. Every suffering comes with wisdom. I learned so much about that. So don't be afraid to face with problems. Where does that problem come? It comes from the mind. The mind that acts in accord the situation which it has met, and it reacts. That's all. That's it. That's it. My situation was that after the meal, they left everything there for me to clean up after, and then for a couple of weeks, and I become, the internal reaction, which I didn't, let it out. I kept it on from the very small, and then it gradually become bigger, until it become an atomic bomb, and right at that moment, and then I become boom. So, but it's part of. I don't advocate myself or because of that. Therefore, I get mad. No, I don't advocate myself for that reason. It's just a human nature, and look at my own human nature. Look at my colleagues' own human nature. I'm looking at your human nature. We're acting in different phases. If we're lucky, we go in the right direction, which is the wholesome phases. But if we're unlucky, we go in opposite, in a different direction, which is unwholesome phases. And this is one of the unwholesome phases, that's all. So when we understand that, we never have a question of why did it happen, why Putin invaded Ukraine, why the husband ran over the wife many times, making sure that she is dead, such and such. And it becomes relief. Every failures, there is a chance of succeed. So I have heard before, many times before, the great master say that don't be afraid of problems. The only thing is that you don't recognize problems soon enough. That's all. And that's my practice. So, should we have any question to share with? About 10,000 faces, about whatever that you encounter in life.
I encountered a situation which let me realize afterwards, and that was I bought a nice cup of chai tea, and I was trying to open up. At the same time, I was thinking about maybe similar to what you were going through, and the cup fell in my car, and I made a mess. And I said, "Oh my God!" I remember somebody said that unwanted gift. Like I was thinking about someone, and I was sending unconsciously that thought to that person. I thought she lied to me, and I was kind of thinking about it, and it came back to me, and I dropped water. I said, "Oh, I need to rethink. Maybe I'm wrong," So I stopped in my thinking process.
That's one phase of the mind.
That is also.
That is also.
It's all memory, right? We're talking about memories.
Yes. Everything is a phase of the mind. No more, no less. And once that we realize what's going on, that becomes a lesson, and we learn that. We learn from that. If the situation which you never encountered before, then you react accordingly for your collective karma. But soon as you realize, soon as you learn the lesson, and then the next time when that situation came again, you don't react so hastily that you have a moment of pondering, and then the reaction become less unproductive. So we learn. As long as this physical body can no longer contain the mind, then right there that we don't learn anymore. But as long as we are still conscious, then we still learn. There are many, many things out there for us to study. And we never stop. It looks like that we never stop until that we become non-attached to every places, to every secret situation that came upon us. Then right there that we would stop, learning. But at that time, for saying that you have become a saint, you have become some sort of patriarch already. Just like you become a Buddha kind. Then we stop learning. Please.
What you're talking about reminded me right away for some reason. Like a long time ago, I went to a health conference, and when we were sitting down for a meal, all the waitresses had flares, so the stuff that you wear to kind of just buttons that have sayings, and sometimes they're funny and sometimes they're just whatever they support. But one of them stood out, was very funny, was it said body by Nautilus, mind by Mattel. So kind of joking that they work out to make themselves look good, but then Mattel is a company that makes toys, so saying that they don't have much of a mind, kind of saying it's kind of a joke. And kind of the same saying with that, it ties into, it's funny how thought goes after another thought. So then the other thought reminded me of when masters would say, we are an animal. We forget that we're part of the animal kingdom, but then we are also, we have Buddha nature. And one little thought that we don't pay attention to, when we lose our awareness, we lose our Buddha nature. So then the animalistic or the anger or, and all of us have experienced it. And so I thought that was very interesting to remind, because it's like, I'm one of those, at least I feel, you don't realize when you're younger, but I feel fortunate that I was born and raised into a Buddha family, a Buddhist family. And so we got to, it's called Yadin Fataru. So even early on, we went to the temple, but they have they call it like little scout or organization that, elder kind of teach the younger how to do proper things. So I always thought that was, very fortunate. And then I'll ask, it's yet, like I said, another thought goes to another. So being raised as a Buddhist family, and then another thought came in was that, they're taught, a lot of masters remind us all the time, we have very strong attraction to two people in our life. And I think I mentioned this before. One was the person you love the most, and that's tough to lose that attachment. And the other one is the person you hate the most. So I thought that was very interesting, and that's why, at least for me, I see where some couples it just does not work out, or certain brothers, sisters, family members, because you will encounter someone in your life that you hate the most, and they come to the closest. It's just kind of like the karma that you have to owe each other. And so, and I've seen that too. So, close family members, so with growing up that, I always thought superstitious. When I got married to Lynn, or, Yoann, her parents and my parents too went to the monk and asked, are these people compatible? Which I think is interesting. So they knew my birth date and time, my mom and dad told it, and they knew her birth date and time. And then they asked the monk, are these two compatible? And then when should they have their wedding? Back then I thought it was just cultural, and I said, okay, I follow along. But the more and more I keep going to, Dharma talks and listening to Dharma, and it makes sense why they do that. So at first I thought I just follow along with, as cultural. So I asked Thay that too, is there significance in that? Are they really you know, because I think that was interesting that, you know, parents never tell you why. They just do, and you just follow along. But I've wondered if anyone else, you know, in other cultures have done that. Or do they look at their, you know, I call it, what's the term called? Not astrological kind of charts.
Astrology.
Yeah, astrology and see there's compatibility. So, like I said, one thought goes after another. But that's my question to ask.
Like I said, that sometimes we do it without knowing it, why we did it and such and such. It's just a tradition that came from China, that you have to match up, you know, your birth, and then I think that the recollection of such, you know, astrology may be right in its own collective way because of the the data is based on the collections of incidents which happened, and then they made a record, and then they came out as the result of this bird and this bird are not compatible or compatible based upon the random collections. You know, they recorded, and then they say, oh, this is not compatible and such, but actually it's myself, I don't buy such a thing. No.
But it's funny. I've heard stories where people, you know, go to the monk after, and the monk would tell them, "Well, why did you let these two marry? Because they're incompatible." And it's true. Where, you know, I've heard, so, you know, like close family members. So to me, it's, you know, I always wondered if it was like part, you know, now you're telling me it's kind of a Chinese culture, but they always go to a monk to ask. So, and there's been so many correlations where when they're incompatible, and you see the effect afterwards, and when they're compatible, it came out fine.
Yes,
So.
yes. It's based on the random collections in which, you know, it's this is the story. I don't know if it was true or not, but it's good to say that a very wealthy man lived in a very, very, very nice palace. And then there were three men who is expert on body sign reading. Another one is a very expert on seeing where the house sit and the location of the house, the location of the window, of the door should be, where to put things in the house. He's an expert for that. And another one is that his expertise for burying the direction of the tomb should be on this direction, or this location is going to be good for the family if you bury your loved one there, and such and such. And then he came to the wealthy man. The first one looking at him, there is no way that he is so rich, because of the body sign doesn't say that this guy should be. He has every bad sign of omen against being rich as of right now. And then the second guy, maybe because of the house that he built was in the right direction, and because of that he got wealthy. And then they look at the house, they look at the arrangement, furniture inside the house. He said, there's no way that, according to his knowledge, this is impossible. And then the third one said, maybe because of the tomb where he buried his loved ones, and he came out. He see how the tomb was buried and the location and the direction of the tomb. And he said, there's no way that this could work. They couldn't explain it. They couldn't figure out why. On the way back home, the owner took him. At the first, when he came out to see the tomb, it was a very short distance. But on the way coming home, it took quite a while for them to go back home. And they all discussed about the situation of being rich, in which his body sign, his house, his tomb don't fit into the categories. And then the next question, by the way, when you took us to the tomb, it was a very short distance, but when we come back, why it took so long to get back home? And then the man said, on the way home, I saw a man try to steal the rice. And then when he saw us, he was so scared, he was so afraid that he soaked himself, hide himself under the mud. When I saw that, I'm afraid that seeing us, he would not steal the rice. So that's why I took you around in different directions, so he could be able to steal the rice. So in that story, we say that the generosity which made him rich, and such and such. And I have to open quote on this one because of lots of people misunderstanding the law of karma. Many people came to the temple. They came to the temple earnestly. They do everything earnestly in order to get what they wanted. And then when things didn't turn out the way they wanted, and then they blame on the Buddha, they blame on the order that they said that if I do good, and then in return I'm gonna get good. But I tried to do everything possible good, and now I didn't get any good coming back. And then it turned out that they left the temple because of it didn't turn out the way they wanted. We have to understand the way the law of karma works is that I'm using the example of a class with half water. When you see a class with half water with left over, then it's different perspective. But when you see the half left water with half full, then it's a different perspective. So the same situation. When mishaps comes to you, you say that, oh, this is still better. It could have been worse. And that is very wise to see that. Instead of claiming that, oh, I did every possible good and then I didn't get any good return at all. In that way, would explain that the compatible such and such, sometimes it works randomly and sometimes it doesn't work because of the karma which we created in the past. Who knows? Anything else? Yes.
How do you determine wholesome acts from unwholesome acts at times when it may not be easy to see, or at times when an act may seem wholesome or unwholesome to one person but not another person, depending on their, conditioning and perspectives?
It's rather easy that we know right away if the act is wholesome or unwholesome. It's right away. It's the mental discernment classifies. This is one that we should do. This is one that we should do. The only because of in the situation. Sometimes the energy of unwholesome is so strong that pulls you toward the direction of doing it. You can experience that very right away. You can experience that very, clearly that it's wrong, but you still do it. Because the energy was so strong. And you cannot win over with that, and that's why that it becomes an action, even though that, just like craving, let's say that craving is cigarettes. When you're in the process of giving up, but the craving was so powerful that you couldn't resist it, and then and the mind said, maybe I'll try to have one puff. That's all, just one puff. But then after one puff, maybe another one, and then one after one, then you finish a cigarette without knowing it. It's just an energy. Sometimes you have to use the source of wisdom to cut it away, and then as a grandmaster that taught us it's like enough is enough. Using a very strong force, mental force, that enough is enough. Like that. You yell at yourself, you scold at yourself in order to suppress that. In this case, suppression is very, very good. Sometimes, when you get mad, your body gets hot. Take a cold shower. It gets upside down too. So there are many means, many skillful means to get away with. And then when the momentum is down, then we can be at ease. We don't have to do that. Or, the same situation happened, but it did not. No, again, it's the same situation. That person can slap it at your face. You might not get mad. But another person that came slapping at your face, you become furious. Why? It's a collective karma that you have a thing with this one person, and that's why when it happened, there is nothing going on. But another one, when it happened, then it become serious. So we have to put collective karmas into the account too, and watching for the force. You see it, the force pulls you to the side, and then become an action. And this is my case on Sunday. Anything else?
I heard we can be addicted to our emotions. When
Yes.
You, when you said, enough is enough, and I'll do that too. Sometimes you certain addiction to it.
Yes, of course, especially with the addiction, so it takes a lot of effort, mental effort, to get to overcome with. But anyway, don't be afraid to the failures. Don't be afraid to, because it doesn't matter how many times that you fail, as long as you still have an aspiration. Even though if you don't have aspiration, you still at the end you're gonna be the winner because of the natural process of phenomena. They go in one way. They don't go, in different directions. There's only one way going. I guarantee you all that. Impermanence, because of impermanence too. Yes. But I guarantee you, because of impermanence, because of the process of the mind, the process of phenomena is such and such and such and such. So that's why the Buddha was so confident to say that you all going to become Buddha sooner or later. So don't be afraid of failures.
How long will it take me?
It doesn't matter.
Dramas in life.
Then look into that question. There is an ego.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how long. If I say that there is no Buddha, there is no becoming. It's just the way it is. It's a different perspective. Yes. So when you don't have an expectation, then you don't have an expectation to overcome your situation. You don't have an expectation that you're gonna suppress your emotions, because if you know that sooner or later it's gonna go, or if it doesn't go away, it's still okay. It's part of the mind. It doesn't go away, which means that it's still hanging a little bit longer. That's all. The law of impermanence is that sooner or later one has a nature to arise, then one has a nature to subside. It's just a matter of time.
The more we don't react to situation, the less the habit will become stronger.
Be aware of it. Just be aware. At first, we try not to let the situation, come out into a physical action of words or force and such and such. He said that we all gonna become Buddha. At the end, we all gonna liberate ourselves sooner or later. And it's just a natural process. That's all. If you have a chance, really sit down and talk to a grandmaster. Then he's going to explain to you a different perspective of liberation. Means completely free free from becoming. Now, free from becoming. Every situation we're in, it's a part of becoming. And now, there is no becoming anymore. So when becoming doesn't have any impact on you anymore, then it doesn't matter which form you're gonna take in next life. Can you see the point? Can you see the point that becoming has no impact anymore? Then it doesn't matter what form you're gonna take. It doesn't matter that you get mad today, you get happy tomorrow. It doesn't matter that you come to the temple for a month, for three years, or to the rest of your life. It doesn't matter anymore. You just flow in accord, and it's very delightful. It's very delightful. It's like that you're taking a huge burden off your back because of when we are here, we always have some kind of aspiration, especially for freedom, especially for happiness. And that aspiration is a burden. Why don't you just throw everything away? Just live with who we are. As Krishnamurti said, that why don't you show your real face? Don't cover it. And I am angry? Yes, I am angry. I'm happy? Yes, I'm happy. And that is the truth. Without aspiration, without anything, because of right now, at that moment, you don't have any aspiration to become anything. As you are right now, without anything further added, period. So, after the incident on that past Sunday, I feel good.
Let it go, right?
Yes, I have a chance to really practice. I have a chance. Yes.
Thanks for reminding me too.
Yes. If the incident didn't happen, then I didn't have a chance to practice of encounter such a situation. So
Grateful for that.
yes, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for. So we put it into perspective of gratefulness that for whatever comes, without expectation.
So if everyone's going to become a Buddha in this lifetime or other lifetimes, it is our nature to be a Buddha. Now, what if you step off the path and go over to the unwholesome path, intentionally or unintentionally, and you cause pain? You beat up somebody, or like that man that killed his wife. How does that impact your path to becoming a Buddha?
Oh, now we come to understanding the 10,000 phases of the mind, and then with wisdom. Now the wisdom which nobody can show you the wisdom. Only that when you practice, and then wisdom can show you that it doesn't matter that he took the wrong path. Sooner or later, he's going to turn back. Very soon or later. If he has an aspiration, then it's going to be quicker. If he doesn't have an aspiration for right now, later on the aspiration will come, and then he's going to turn around. It's just the natural process of the mind. It goes in one way. Remember, it goes in one way. There's no retrogression. There's no regression. It's one way going on. One way going on. The movie that show on the screen, the succeeding frame, boom, 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 boom. You see it in the present moment, but actually the film just keep going forward. Same thing, and that's why the Buddha was so sure that everyone is gonna become Buddha. Now, don't get mistaken. Get enlightened, get freedom. Don't become a Buddha. Don't. it's too far away, but because of as of right now, every split second, every frame that go into the present moment, frame of the movie, go into the present moment without any mental emotions. Right there is the Buddha. Right there is the Buddha. You don't have to go far. Very equanimous. Remember equanimity, equanimous, equanimity. There's nothing else. Sometimes you use the word becoming a Buddha, then you have an expectation. At the end, you're going to be something. You're going to become something. That becoming is not realistic. That becoming is still a becoming. Why don't you just discard all becomings to be as of now? Am I angry? Yes, I'm angry. Am I mad? Yes, I'm mad. Am I happy? Yes, I'm happy right at this moment. That's it. There's no expectation. And right there, you attain Buddhahood. If I have to use the word.
Being aware.
Yes, being aware, that's it, being aware. The natural process of the mind, which is the consciousness and the mind. That's it. Okay. May you attain the non-becoming. For non-becoming is what you are right now. What you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you feel within your body without any emotions. That truth is here now. And you are that. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.